Well, September marks Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and this year's theme is Better Survival and is Achievable. It's a hashtag through your hands. There are calls for governments now to help reduce the mortality rate of children by 2030. Delayed detection and diagnosis are set to contribute to low survival rates, and organizations such as CHOC, Childhood Cancer Foundation South Africa, say that this is achievable through educating communities about cancer. So let's bring into the discussion CHOC SA's CEO, Hadley Lewis, in our studios. It's great to have you with us, even though it is on this topic, Hedley. And I was saying to you off air that I've kind of been dreading our discussion because childhood cancer is such a difficult topic, isn't it?
It definitely is a difficult topic. I think the main thing is that people don't conceptualize that children do get cancer. I think that it's seen as a disease that affects either the elderly or females. But I think that the most important thing about International Childhood Cancer Month is that children get cancer. And I think that as soon as we realize that that is a possibility, it's the first step really to early diagnosis, early referrals.
So there are a number of, I'm just going through the information that I got from your office. There are a number of issues when we talk about the treatment of childhood cancer that perhaps contributes to not having, contributes to having higher mortality rates than ideally we would have. Delayed diagnosis is one of them, but also a lack of specially trained doctors and nurses. Let's talk about the issue of delayed diagnosis first.
I think that globally, I think the challenge, as we've just said, is that the human conception is you don't want to realize that children can get it. So I think that the key is, first of all, to realize children do get it. I think the second thing is, if there are one of the early warning signs, which are available on the CHOC website, that the first thing you should do is seek help, seek medical advice, go to the clinics. And then finally, if there is a diagnosis, that early referral, early diagnosis hopefully will create the opportunity for the best possible prognosis.
And insofar as specially trained health specialists, doctors and nurses, how do we fare on that score here in South Africa?
Well, I think that South Africa is doing what they can. I think that globally, I think specialists are trained as quickly as possible. It is a super speciality. And I think that we need to just, obviously, no country thinks that they're producing or doing the best. But I think that South Africa needs to continue to train, continue to work together with global leaders. And there are various alliances globally to see how we can enhance the skill set, as well as to continue to keep the skill sets in the various hospitals globally, I think.
You in your earlier answer, talked about some of the pointers on the CHOC website to help with early diagnosis, right? Can you take us through, like, what parents should be looking out for?
Absolutely. So I think the first thing is to note that before I go through them is all of these are really prolonged. So if a child does get a headache or they do get a back pain, the first consideration is let's have it checked. But let's not say that it's definitely cancer. So the Department of Health, together with the SACCSG, which is the formal body that oversees pediatric oncology, together with CHOC came up with a basic acronym called SILAWAN. So if you have a look, S is for seek medical advice. I, there could be a white spot in the eye or a squint. L, there could be a lump. U is the unexplained. A could be aching pains. And the N is neurological. So if we have a look at those, if those are any of the symptoms that your child has for prolonged periods, then we really say go to clinics, go to doctors, refer early, and make sure that you've covered all of those.
And the key there is prolonged, having any of those things for a prolonged period of time. Insofar as your own history, your own family history is concerned, if I've got a history of cancer in my family, is that something that I need to be looking out for in my children?
Look, I think that any genetics in a family is a consideration. I think that if you're having a look at childhood cancer, the most important thing is to have a look at these early warning signs.
Right.
If they are there, GPs, clinics, they need to make these quick calls and obviously to refer as soon as possible. And in our country, a lot of these children are treated at tertiary institutions under the supervision of pediatric qualified oncologists.
I mean, this one paragraph in the information that I have here in front of me is just so incredibly worrying, that globally childhood and adolescent cancer is threatening to overtake infectious diseases as one of the highest causes of disease-related mortality in children. I mean, that's shocking, isn't it?
I think it is a huge concern. I think it is a stress for all of us. I think it's a stress for the globe. And I think that's why it's absolutely imperative that these are highlighted, that childhood cancer is on global spectrums. It's spoken about. And the reality is that the public can change perceptions. And that's why we call on the public in International Childhood Cancer Month to create the awareness, to educate, and to join the voices.
There is some good news insofar as our own fight against childhood and adolescent cancer is concerned here in South Africa. The survival rate gradually increasing in South Africa in cases of childhood and adolescent cancer. And is that due to the kind of work you're doing this month to try and raise awareness in part?
Well, I think that it really stems from the fact that it takes a village to treat a child.
Yeah.
I think that when you're seeing that South Africa's pediatric oncologists are on global levels, I think that it's part of the incredible support by nurses, by doctors, by hospitals, as well as communities, NGOs and civil societies that are really uniting. And yes, the survival rate is gradually moving up, but we're hoping to reach by 2030 that 60%, which is being set.
2030 is not far away. Do you reckon we're on the right path to achieving that?
I think that if we continue where we're going, we truly hope so.
So for the Awareness Month of September, what are some of the key sort of stakeholders that you have working on this goal, on this community goal of increasing survival rates by 2030?
Well, I think that as we unite with the rest of the globe on International Childhood Cancer Month, we're calling on the globe, we're calling on South Africans to destigmatize, don't ostracize, unite with these families. Make sure that you're taking them into your love and your heart, helping them refer. But I think that for CHOC and for South Africa, we're saying wear a gold ribbon, share your alignment, and most importantly, should you find someone that may have symptoms, use the CHOC website, www.choc.org.za, to support. There's smaller things that we're calling on. You can add a twib to your Facebook page or an Insta frame. But the key is refer. Early warning signs, early detection, best possible prognosis.
Yes, absolutely. Hadley Lewis, let me thank you for your time this morning on the AM Report, the CHOC CEO. And if you do have any further questions as we highlight the importance of Childhood Cancer Month this month, head on over to the CHOC website. It is, you said it's choc.co.za.
choc.org.za.
choc.org.za, and I'll tweet those details as well, just for clarity. Thanks very much, Hedley, for coming to the studio.